Welcome to FedScoopTV. I'm Dan Verton. We're here talking with John Kreisa, the Vice President of Strategic Marketing at Hortonworks. John, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So John, we're talking about open source today and wanted to see if you could offer some of your ideas and thoughts on the trends in open source.
Open source is extremely vibrant right now. I would say that what we're seeing in terms of open source, particularly around the open source project we work with, which is something called Apache Hadoop, a lot of innovation. There's just a lot of companies that are contributing and a lot of excitement and energy around this particular technology, and that's really driving kind of a very fast pace of innovation, in many cases outpacing even what proprietary companies can do.
Really?
Yeah.
Are there particular areas in the government that you're aware of that are adopting open source at a more rapid pace than others?
Yep, so we've seen from our standpoint in terms of our technology, the IC community, the Intel community has been very quick to adopt this technology, I think in part because of the value proposition around lower cost kind of storage and analysis of data. We've also seen civilian, quite an uptake in some of the civilian, and that's attributable to the kinds of data that they're collecting and things that they want to exploit, and again, a low-cost scale-out infrastructure for processing data, is something that really lends itself to them.
Right. I wanted to ask you about some lessons learned, and I just recently had an interview with somebody said, another guest said, that the government is way out in front in terms of open source adoption and lessons learned. Is there anything that the private sector can learn from the government?
I would, first of all, agree with that I think the government has been an early adopter of course, a broad set of open source technologies, and I think we at Hortonworks are experiencing that in terms of our technology, Hadoop. So I think in terms of private sector, they need to sort of watch, I think, what the government's done in this particular area and follow some of the adoption patterns, and they could really, I think, continue to pick up and adopt some of the technology more quickly.
And one of the comments was just adopt it.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you to take out your crystal ball. Take me a couple of years from now, 2, 3, 5 years from now. Where do you see open source going?
I think there's no end really in sight for the potential for open source, and I say that because the just economics of how open source comes to market and the kind of transformative nature of what it can do for organizations. If I look 2 or 3 years out, I think adoption will continue to grow for open source in a broad set of technologies. The government, in the space that we're working in particular, in the data space, the government's collecting more data and has more needs to process data than ever before. And that will continue to drive the adoption of our technology, Apache Hadoop, and just other technologies. So several years out, you'll just see it continue to grow at a rapid pace.
Excellent. John, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks very much for having me.
We've been talking with John Kreisa, Vice President of Strategic Marketing at Hortonworks. This is FedScoopTV. Thanks for watching.